Hello and welcome to my December TBR. So this month I am doing Reread December. Basically the reason I wanted to do this is I feel like we get to December and there's all of this pressure on you need to finish your goals, you need to have read this many books, you need to have hit this target, you need to have read all of these that you had put on this really ambitious list 12 months ago in January and now you don't want to read them. And I don't want to do that. I want to read the books that I know that I'm going to love and actually just have a chilled out rereading time. So this month I am throwing out my TBR and I'm going to just be rereading books that I'm excited by. I am slightly lying. There is one book in this quite large stack that I haven't read before, but this quite enormous stack is what I'm planning on reading. So let's start off at the top. I plan on rereading ACOTAR. So I'm going to read the whole series. I've got these three in paperback. Yes, I have still got the old covers because I like the old covers. And then I'm also wanting to read Frost and Starlight and Silver Flames as well. So I have read the main trilogy a couple times and I really enjoy it. I love the series. Frost and Starlight and Silver Flames, I've only read them each once, but I'm so excited to read them again. In case you don't know what ACOTAR is about, I'm assuming that most people probably do. It's a fairly well-known series. But ACOTAR follows Feyre. In book one, she is the youngest daughter of this quite poor family. Her older sisters are fairly spoiled. Her dad is injured and none of them do anything to provide for the family. So it's up to Feyre to go hunting and provide meat and money for the family. While hunting in the forest, she shoots this wolf. Turns out this wolf is a fairy and the Lord of the Fairies comes and as punishment for Feyre shooting this wolf, who is a fairy, he says she has to go and live with him in the Spring Court. So A Court of Thorns and Roses is Feyre and Tamlin, the Spring Court lords, the Lord of the Spring Court. Their love story, sorry if you can hear sneezing, it's my cat. The series does divert quite a bit from the events in ACOTAR. So I feel like this one is very much a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but at the end of this one, especially when we get into Akamath, things change and we end up, again, we still continue following Feyre and her love interests. Court of Frost and Starlight is basically the Christmas book. It's quite short, it's a novella, it comes after Wings and Ruin. It's not actually meant about Christmas because, you know, we're in a fantasy world, but it is basically, it's a winter festival where everyone gives each other presents. And then Silver Flames is the first one that has been marketed specifically as adult. It is very smutty and this is Cassian and Nesta's story. Nesta is one of Feyre's sisters. So that is my first plan on my reread December. I'm thinking of doing an ACOTAR reading vlog and yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to just vlog myself rereading the series. It's probably going to be a very spoilery vlog. Okay, the next chunk that I am wanting to reread are Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. So Taylor Jenkins Reid, these books are actually why I came up with the idea of doing Reread December in the first place. So it actually was on my birthday in October at Cheltenham Literature Festival. I went to see Taylor talk about Carrie Soto and it just made me, hearing her speak about the connections between these four books, just made me kind of think I want to reread them again. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to start off with Evelyn Hugo. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is set in, is it the 50s or 60s? Sometime around there, golden age of Hollywood. Evelyn Hugo is an iconic Hollywood actress. Everybody knows Evelyn Hugo. Everybody has seen that scene of her coming out of the sea. She is an icon. And she's famously been married for 7 times, but nobody knows really anything much about her husbands and why she's been married so many times. So this is her story. The reason that I wanted, like I said, to reread these ones is there is a character, one of her husbands, Mick Reaver, and he turns up in some guise in all of these, and I'm excited to kind of actually follow that through. So we've got Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Then Daisy Jones and the Six. This one is probably my favourite of the Taylor Jenkins Reid books I've read. It's very, very close between these two, but I think Daisy just takes it. Daisy Jones was my first Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I listened to it on audiobook, which I really recommend, but I'm going to read it physically this time just to kind of see what it's like physically. Daisy Jones and the Six follows a band. So Daisy Jones in 70s was this huge star, really, really up and coming, and just an amazing musician. And the Six were also this really well-known rock band. They're both signed to the same label, and they say, hey, we want you to do a duet, to work together. So they do. They literally take the world by storm. They are world famous. Then on a tour, they break up, no one ever speaks of it again. It's not happening, not getting back together. And this is their story. It's told in a podcast format, which is why I think the audiobook is so good, because each character has a different actor, so absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I loved it. This was another one, like with Evelyn Hugo. At the end of Evelyn Hugo, I was trying to Google Evelyn Hugo coming out of the sea so I could see that picture, and then remembered that she is a fictional character. Same with this one. At the end, I was like, oh, I'm going to just go on Spotify and see if I can find some songs by Daisy Jones and the Six before I realised they're a fictional band. But yeah, love this one so much, so very excited. We've then got Malibu Rising. This one is set in the 80s. It follows the 4 children of Mick River from Evelyn Hugo. He has basically left them and their mother, and this kind of follows them as grown-up kids. The one that we mainly follow, whose name I can't remember, Nina, she is a pro surfer, and she's throwing this massive party by the end of the night, and I believe it says it, I'm just going to double check that I'm not spoiling anything. Yeah, by midnight the party is completely out of control. By morning the Weaver house will be up in flames. And it's basically just showing this one night, this one party in Malibu and everything around it. And again, I loved this. I know this one gets fairly mixed reviews. I really loved it. It wasn't quite as good as Daisy or Evelyn, but I did really love it. And then finally, the one book on this list that I haven't read already is Carrie Soto is Back. So this one follows Carrie in the 90s. She is a pro tennis star who retired after breaking the record for the most amount of, is it Grand Slams that you win in tennis? I don't know. She was the world best. She's won the most amount of tennis award things that you can. And she retired. She's now someone is challenging her record, and she decides to come out of retirement and prove that she is still the best tennis player in the world. This one has got really interesting views around family and particularly father-daughter relationships. So I think this is going to be really good. Highly anticipated. Finally, the last 2 books that I've got on this quite enormous TBR are my rereads of Six of Crow and Crooked Kingdom. So I love the Grishaverse. The main trilogy of the Grishaverse, so Shadow and Bone, I can kind of give or take. Like, they're fine, but I don't love them. Six of Crows, however, love so much. Crooked Kingdom I actually preferred, and I am just so excited to reread these books. I believe I read these 2 in the same year as I read Daisy Jones, and I know that these 3 were my top 3 books of the year. I think it was 2019 or 2020. So I'm so excited to reread these. A little bit nervous in case I don't love them as much, but I don't think that I loved Six of Crows because of the time I read it or because of anything that it did. I think it was just the characters. I cannot wait to return to this world. My favourite characters are Nina and Matthias, and I just love them. I want to get back and meet them again. So that is my full, about to fall over, December TBR. Let me see if I can pick these all up. Right, this really annoys me. Okay, these two I got brand new. Look at the size difference. Why was this one published as a small hardback? Really annoying. I'm going to try and skip these ones all up. So yes, this is my December TBR. It is fairly ambitious. However, because they're all rereads, I feel like it's a lot more doable than it would be otherwise. That's hurting my arms. I'm going to put those ones down now. How many books is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 books. On average, I probably read about 10 or 11 books each month. So I feel like it is doable. Like I said, they're rereads. They should be quicker than normal. But also, it's a lot of books. That's a lot of words there. So we'll see how we go. If you've got this far, let me know what you're reading in December. Let me know if you've read any of these before. Let me know your thoughts. If you just want to leave a like, leave a emoji, let's leave a Christmas tree because it is nearly Christmas. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.